I want to keep these secrets not to annoy you or play some kind of game with MakingStarWars.com. With MakingStarWars.com.
It's not about spaceships. It's not about spaceships. It's not about spaceships. It's not about spaceships.
Hey everyone, it's the middle of the night. What are you doing up? Just drinking coffee?
That's all I do. I hold that position until the next episode, by the way. Like I'm taking the Jason Ward challenge. I just hold this cup until the next show and that's it.
Yeah, so we got to watch it. Mark Hamilton is still up. Mark Hamilton apparently keeps our hours, our weird times of day and night. Because we see him in the morning and we see him at night. But
Geek time, dude. GT.
Also known as dumb priorities. No, not saying that about you guys, but I know myself and I can speak for me and I have dumb priorities. No, yeah, I thought it was cool. He's all, I'm awake in the UK, of course you are. It's like, what time is it there right now?
It's like 4, man.
Yeah, it's
chill.
Like, oh, cool, man. He's like, dude, I'm having some hot wings or fish and chips, whatever you guys eat.
Crisps.
Crisps. Yeah, so on one hand, it was really rad to see exactly what techniques they did use and to have it confirmed. And things like the voice thing was a big deal to me when they said that, because I thought it was kind of hilarious. Not that this is that smart, but after we finished our reading today of the Duel of the Fates script, I was like, oh, we should look into that program that you could put people's voices in it and make them say the lines. I was like, I wonder if we can get the Duel of the Fates spoken by Finn, Ray, and you know what I mean, all of the cast, and see what it sounds like. And it would be
Revenge
like
guy's like, I'm already on it, guys. Like, what are you talking about?
No, he has like voice actors and stuff. And I was thinking about that. I was like, whoa, if that works, you might be able to do that, Revenge guy. Yeah.
Well, you can get voice box, but everyone's going to sound like an evil clown or like, like a maniacal Chuck E. Cheese robot.
Yeah. But I respected the honesty in it for a Disney kind of PR-ish documentary, where in a weird way, they kind of like, number one, they acknowledge reality a lot, which I thought was cool. They acknowledge that shit leaks. They acknowledge that
I was waiting. Name drop.
No, on those ones were all like leaked by them, really. Like Tamara Morrison, I think he was the one who was just like, oh, I'm busy. But anyways, and if I'm wrong, I don't mean it as a slight to anybody. I just don't remember. Anyways, yeah, it was cool how they weren't talking about like porn, just get this video demonetized, but they were kind of talking around it. You know what I mean?
Fakes.
Yeah, it could be used for evil, and they were kind of leaning more towards like the president side of things, like like the famous one is like when they faked the Obama video. That's what was like the big, everybody look at deep fakes, they faked Obama. And
not for nothing, man, the unfinished deep fake stuff looked really compelling. I thought it looked, I don't know how under the chin they can get, like, when he leans up and moves around. Like, I wonder what their limits were at that point, but it looked extremely compelling.
Yeah, there's like still things about it that I'm curious about. Like they explicitly say like it follows eye lines and stuff like that, and that's what it really looks like. But Mark Hamill was in a drastic accident that did change how he looked. You know what I mean? And I never thought it was like night and day. I probably would have just thought he got older or something by Empire if I hadn't known, about the accident. But I was curious if that came into play, because in the videos they're showing all this archival picture of Mark Hamill from like A New Hope, and then later on when they're showing it, it's all Return of the Jedi, and I was
Well,
like, did they end up using all of it, or did they just end up leaning onto the Return of the Jedi era content to make that Luke and stuff?
I just know the Vince McMahon estate, has just been salivating at this tech because they own the characters of Macho Man and Hulk Hogan. And I gotta imagine we're not too far from some AI driven event match where young Hulk Hogan fights old Hulk Hogan, or like
Right.
I know, like no one's brought this up, but I have been anxiously awaiting this, where like, he owned look, say what you want about Vince, he's definitely a capitalist shill, but he owns those characters and those likenesses too.
Right.
Like he even I know I'm taking off a detour, but believe me, trust me, it comes
no,
back.
No. This is
But in the 90s, Razor Ramon and Diesel, Scott Nash,
Hey,
and
Chico.
Scott Hall.
Hey, Chico.
Yeah, Chico, right?
Hey, Chico.
They left to go to the WCW, and so Vince did this thing where he actually got two guys to dress up and act like them. And just, I don't mean like, they did a spoof of Hogan and Macho Man. They call him like the Nacho Man and they were old and shit. It was funny, but he actually had them as characters in the ring. Like,
Right.
And so I'm like, okay, imagine that, but with this tech in real time. Like, you know what I mean? Like at a live event.
Yeah.
Like it can happen, sooner than we think.
Well, like I was saying, I never got the word on if it was actually Jar Jar or if it was simply the example used. But they did these tests using the rendering with 5G technology, that's able to beam it up, render it at ILM, beam it back in real time with doing like a Jar Jar Binks hosting SNL, like doing the opening monologue of SNL in real time. Like when you have that kind of stuff right there, you could cast a new Hogan. You could cast a guy. Yeah.
To bring Jar Jar back as the host of SNL is the perfect way to bring him back. Like, if you do that, you can win goodwill with people. Like if that's the first thing they do and then they put him in a show somewhere, like that is pretty genius.
It's true. Yeah. But I liked how the documentary started to get a little into the ethics of it, because that is fascinating and that is where your mind goes. And I liked how they laid out for the layman fan, I don't know what you call it, the Disney guy, whatever,
the plebe
person, the plebe, the asshole. No, like what the various pathways to getting to de-aging are digitally, and I was aware of that stuff, but I thought it was very concise and well done. I think it's going to help some of the online conversation get on track a bit. I was hoping in a weird way that they would acknowledge that one dude who they hired from YouTube who improved it. But
that's after or during?
It was after. It was after, but this documentary was, most of it was, I think, made after.
Well, to bring up Indiana Jones, since you got that up, I gotta imagine they'll do one of these Disney magic things for whatever they're doing on Indy as well, right?
Yeah, so probably.
He'll get his day in the sun. Got to, especially if they really nail the young Ford look. Like if they really nail it, like, and you got to imagine Mangold is probably a ruthless stickler for details. I mean,
yeah,
he doesn't seem like a guy who's like, good enough.
Yeah, no, Mangold doesn't seem like he fucks around, Mark Hamilton says, you notice the thing Dave said at 220? If he had said no to Luke, John would have respected that. If anyone's been unsure how much power Dave has in steering the ship, that pretty much seals it. Everything goes through Dave. Yeah, I got the impression that at least the idea they were selling in the documentary, which very well could be authentic, by the way. I'm not doubting it, but I always doubt anything when it's PR based. I know the snakes.
I was not going to do it like Okay.
No, but they do like say like when they're like picking the costume elements and the colors and stuff like that, that Peyton and Favreau and Filoni all kind of together worked it out. So yeah, I have a feeling it's a lot more like a three-piece band, like and how things are gonna go. And I think people know their places and and everybody knows what one another wants probably or likes, and it's probably I think it's probably collaborative in that way. I mean, that makes sense. And I think to bring it back to your wrestling analogy or your wrestling stuff a few minutes ago, when you hear people analyze the stuff on the internet with Lucasfilm, it's like they're watching wrestling half the time. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to like how things are done, it's like, no, most of these people are kind of like fucking dorks. Like they don't really like fight that much and stuff like that.
Kayfabe has worked its way into American culture in a way that is not healthy,
Right.
So I have a question too, quick before the chat is, do you think the move away from the deepfake to the Marvel de-aging method was either A, the technology wasn't quite there or they'd have to limit shots, or B, that Peyton was just more familiar with that secondary process having gone through the Ant-Man films?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not that crazy when they were showing clips of the Marvel way. I don't really like it that much.
No, the compelling, man. I know it wasn't clean. It had that ghosting look and the color wasn't right. But that Hamill, when he's looking, I'm like, that is indistinguishable. Even at that phase, I'm like, that's like the Green Knight portrait scene, right?
Yeah.
You're like, what?
Yeah, no, and I respect them a lot for acknowledging that like we are experts in faces and this isn't really going to fool you, but it's going to tell the story. I think that was
Right.
the essence of what they were saying. And I respect the fact that they weren't like, you guys couldn't tell the difference. You were fooled. You thought this was archival footage from 1983. You're so stupid. You couldn't tell. They
Mark Hamill's wife is like, when do you send me one?
And he's like, after they make one for you. No, anyways, no, but
we divorced ourselves and remarried our deepfakes.
Oh man,
look, the future. Look, when I think of like predicting the future, I try to go, give me the idea that I go, no, that's just too far, because that's probably where it's going to go. Because I always tell my friends, like, when I pitch to you some technology or something and you go, no, that's too weird, I'm like, that's how you know you're old.
Yeah.
Like I haven't hit it yet. I still have that youthful, like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do all the good parts of the deep fake. I totally, the idea that it can be used for porn or for evil is just like, what? Like,
yeah.
I'm still naive in that way, like, what?
Yeah. I mean, there were, I guess, some positives like to it, or like, I think like Pornhub or something banned it. I'm sure it still turns up there or something at the time, but they banned it. And I don't know if that just makes like a black market for it that pops up somewhere else and some other site is like taken off because they allow it or whatever.
What if we legalize all the drugs, but the Mexican cartels get into the deep fake technology?
Hey, that's better.
They're shipping deepfakes now. What I thought they were really, really nice. I'm not a big fan of the Marvel method, but it was really interesting for them to show like the egg and they really got into their process on that in a way that I haven't seen them do too much on these Inside Magics. Like this felt more like a Cinefex, like the Abigail. I'm unfamiliar with her work, but she was very like honest, like that wasn't like a PR driven, like, when they do that fake enthusiasm. Yeah. And then we had Luke and everyone was like, all right. And you're just like,
we had him in the egg. It's like where we're born. It's like the egg where we came out of there. Or that's like our mommy's vaginas.
And I go, Mork and Mindy? No. Because I'm old.
and it's like in Mork and Mindy, the dad is, or the kid is the dad. It's weird. It's like the same thing.
The original Benjamin Buttons was Mork and Mindy, by the
way. Right? No, I think that was because it was about essentially a scene. Or a small sequence, So it allowed it to get really, really deep, as opposed to them being about like an episode or a whole season of a show or whatever. So
Did you
that
feel that that John was trying to sell us on crypto at some point?
yes,
I was
yeah.
like, is he trying to sell me on block? I
He
get what
wants
he's
to-
talking about.
he wants to sell us NFTs of
Happy
himself.
coins or
Yeah.
Favreau tokens, Fav tokens.
Yeah, he does.
I haven't got it down, but give me till tomorrow. I'll work it out.
yeah. No, but he also, it was an interesting question. I was kind of surprised they included that in there.
I like Filoni coin. You know, like come on, man! I'm doing this live, man.
It's yeah, dude.
It's the little hat. It's got a little hat on there.
Yeah, they're called Filoni fives. Everything's cut into a fifth, and it's just everything's divided by a fifth, by a fifth, by a fifth, and it's a blockchain that you just can't break it, dude. You can't break it.
Yeah, I was shocked that they allowed that to be in there too. Like,
yeah, I mean, I'm glad.
Yeah.
I think that was interesting, and I was like, because there was a point when I was watching it, where I was like, oh no, everything we saw in the 15-second clip is just going to be that retold over and over by different talking heads, and I was like, okay, I was glad
they got to a point I thought was halfway, but it was at the 14-minute mark. I'm like, where else is this going? Like, you're right. Like, all right, I'll stick with it, but at some point, man, like, what are we dragging out?
right. And I only watched, obviously we've only watched it once, and I did my best to pay attention to it as best as I could, but it kind of felt weird when they're like, yeah, so we went over to Mark Hamill's house and so I talked, but they used footage of him in the costume. And it's
like he's just there in the costume.
It's like he's just there all the time wearing Return of the Jedi costumes.
What if he is? What if he wears those Jedi like onesies with the padded feet? Did you have that one with the white feet? I had that one.
No, I had for Return of the Jedi, I had the it wasn't called Underoos, but it was like it was a wicket looking into R2's eye. He's like Wicket standing on his tippy toes, looking inside R2's eye, and that was where my Return of the Jedi pajamas. Side note: I remember coming home from Return of the Jedi, getting into my bed, and my parents, like, their goal was they probably wanted to get it on or something. They're like, "You have to sleep in your own bed tonight. After the movie, you cannot come into our bed." And I was like, "It's a deal, man. It's a deal." I remember getting into my bed, and I had the Return of the Jedi blanket and everything already, and with the Emperor's Royal Guards on there and everything. I like look out the window, and I had this vivid image in my head of basically Batman 89, but before Batman 89, of a rope. Darth Vader swings through my window. It breaks the glass. I imagined the glass sticking in my face, and it hurt. And then I was just like, oh, and I grab Darth Vader's buttons on his chest, and I pull it off and kill him. And then I was really scared.
This was your ghost moment. I had a go. You had Vader, man.
This was just
your paranormal experiences are way better than mine.
No, this is just 4-year-old Jason left to his own devices, not being able to run to his parents and being like, oh shit, because Return of the Jedi scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. Like it wasn't like scared, like turned it off. It was like, oh shit, Gamorrean guards are frightening. Like monsters.
The problem is my uncle showed me the trilogy of terror about 3 weeks before I saw Jedi, right? Because I was at his house, and that's the one with this little voodoo doll that murders a woman around her house, and literally that terrified me for the remainder of my childhood.
I woke up from sleeping, walked into my dad was watching it on cable on the couch. Right. And that moment, and my dad, I'm like, what is that? And my dad just goes, it's a gingerbread man.
Ruining Christmas.
And I'm just like, holy shit, that is frightening. Yeah.
The sound design on that thing is, I mean, you laugh, but it's pretty frightening. Like, yeah. Anyway, also some notes, some things of note. One, nice Doug Chang shot. Thought that was great. John Knoll made an appearance. surprised they kept the Gina shot. Just kind of made me sad. You know what I mean? That the whole thing
Yeah,
kind of bummed me out a little bit. You know, I'm like, darn it.
The whole thing is a bummer. It is.
I don't hold any ill will toward her. It just feels like a complete waste of everyone's time and energy. You know?
Yeah, because like I said, nobody won. Nobody won anything in that at all. Yeah, but so the point is that they're just going to deep fake Cara Dune and bring her back. You're fucked. We own your likeness now. We're Disney. Thank you very much. No.
Chris Chan's going to play her. I'm going to hell. But and then another thing was I was really shocked, like the paint job on the Grogu, like when they're just at Hamill's house, it's really good. Like the way they did the work on that little puppet is surprisingly well done, even like in a real world setting, you know, outside of like stage design and stuff.
Yeah, when they were outside at Mark Hamill's house, I kept imagining what's his name, the director of the Boba Fett episode,
Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah, his kids jumping out and starting to do their fucking action sequences from that other footage.
They punch him in the nuts.
You know, they're
sorry, but Hamill was on season 2 of What We Do in the Shadows. So every time I see Hamill now, I just real Cravensworth.
Mark Hamilton laughed when John said, "These days, everyone has an opinion, and if you wish to dip into that river, you can." Laughing my ass off, said with hesitation.
Missed opportunity to cut to that river of lava shot from Mando. And everyone just burns. Like a little bit of like subtle storytelling through the editing, right? Like
when he talked when they're like people were crying or whatever. I thought they were going to show Star Wars Theory and that whole thing with Star Wars Theory and Pablo Hidalgo.
We should do like a crying video just so we can make those rounds. You know what I mean? Like anytime one of these trailers comes out, we should oh god, like I'll bring out the waterwork. Yeah, I'll rip off my shirt. I'll just put it on there.
I can't do the impression of it, but you know when Ali, you ever see the Ali G where the guy, I think it's like in the actor's studio, Ali G's interviewing the dude from In the Actor's Studio. And the guy says
Charlie Rose.
Yeah. And he says like, he's like, yeah, I cried. And then he starts laughing. He's like, you cried? He's like, you cried? I so wish I could imitate that. So when this stuff happens, like it's not for the record. I don't give a fuck if somebody cries. If they feel so inclined to cry, but it is hilarious when somebody is so dumb and so small that they laugh at it like that. In that way,
no, he's a genius dick. You know what I mean? Like he's totally like it's a dick move, but it's so funny because
it's perfect.
And given Charlie Rose now, I'm like fuck him. But like, also a little note I made was there's this British guy with glasses, looks like Toad from American Graffiti.
I don't think it's Charlie Rose. In the Actor's Studio was a different guy.
It's the other guy.
Yeah, he's the guy.
They're all blending me. The Actor's Studio guy and Charlie Rose blended me. I know you're talking about that other guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's like that voice of Brain. Like you could pick 3 different dudes might have done that voice.
Yeah, you know, at one of the Comic Cons, like I went to see Soundgarden at Red Rocks with my friend, and it was just like everybody was so high in Colorado the whole time. It was just like it was like a big party everywhere you went, and people kept giving me these things called Chiba Chews that were like Tootsie Rolls. This is like 2011, 2012. Okay, 2011, I think. Yeah, and I'm like, oh, cool. And I didn't think about it, and we went and saw Soundgarden. We hang out all night. We have to get up and get to the airport real quick to get back because we're flying into San Diego. I think that's how it went. And I have all of these Chiba Chews in my pocket, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna go to jail. And then I'm like going through like airport security, and I'm just like, shit, what do I do? And so I ate a bunch.
Yeah, because that's way safer, right?
But then, so I eat a bunch, and I'm like, I did it. I'm not feeling it or anything like that. And like as I get up to like the guy, you know, who's like actually like checking everything and doing the whole check, I feel in this pocket, my jacket pocket, there's a bunch more. I didn't buy any of this. He's just like, go ahead. They didn't care. They didn't look at me at all. So then I have a very interesting plane ride, but then I get to San Diego, and at this time I don't know anybody, but my friend knows everybody, and we ended up with the guy hanging out with the guy all night who voiced the Pinky and the Brain dude, like that guy.
Right. The Orson Welles sounding dude.
Yeah, and I don't remember his name, but he's just there. He's like a cool guy, but I got bored and I got tired of spending like $18 on a drink at Comic-Con. So I was just like, Chupa Chews, you know? And so the whole time I'm just like this a zombie, and I'm with that guy, and yes, and that's why I don't remember his name now. But
that's why you have the blue check mark, Jason, and I'm fake.
Right?
I don't have
John. What did John Favreau? He said I was a person of consequence.
Yeah. I mean, I've actually worked the booths at Comic-Con as an artist, but I'm not official. So.
No, you're not. You could be a person of consequence someday. I don't know.
I want a thumbs down mark on mine. Like, he's just not worth it. As IDW once called me to my face, you're irrelevant. Like,
wow, really?
That was a fun lunch.
Wow,
fun lunch.
Well,
James Lipton was inside the actor studio.
Yeah, he was a
pimp. So I was saying though that
like a real pimp. Yeah,
the British guy with the glasses looked like Toad from American Graffiti. I was like tripping out. I was like, is that Toad? Like, no, he's too young.
Yeah. They it's kind of weird because like that. I love that documentary though, feeling like I like that moment with Luke more than I do. I will say that much. Like,
it's a good shot. We can't be. I mean, we can go look. It's not perfect, but at the end of the day, very few of these visual effects have ever been perfect. Like I look at the rank arm, it's fucking hamp up.
I don't know what you're talking about when you say this to me, but
they're not really on flying speeder bikes. It shows.
I don't know what you're talking about again. No,
or when we read the Duel of Fate script and like Chewbacca and his Chewbacca's X-wing and he's spinning around, I just picture that bad like Vader shot where they just rotated the the frame, like they didn't have a rig where he went upside down. They just rotated the camera and it's clearly
and that's the thing is when you like the movie or you like the episode of the show or whatever, like the visual effect being less than perfect, it doesn't really matter that much. I mean, you obviously, I want things to always be better and as good as they can be. But, and that moment, like to have that's always, that's the thing is I think it could look a lot better. I hope someday when the technology gets there, I hope they do upgrade it. I would not be against that. At the same time, the moment as a story, it completely works. So that's why I don't care.
This is the one thing where the delivery of Disney Plus, you can fix a visual effect shot.
Yeah.
And everyone has access to it. It's not like you have to go and buy another disc and everyone gets mad and you have to do a marketing campaign, and they can just fix it and update it and be like, boom.
Yeah.
There, we fixed it. What? Oh my God, let's go rewatch it. Oh, so yeah, it's actually a benefit.
Right. And when they do get that technology up and running further, I still wonder, like when they showed the guy who played Luke, who was the stand-in for Luke, the Plo Koon guy too, I think the guy who they put the mask on.
One second.
Yeah,
the Plo Koon head, was that abnormally large? Because I don't remember Plo Koon's head being like it looked super big.
I have to look at it again, but it was digitally composited, so it may have been slightly out of scale, and
because the concept art looked cool. The Plo Koon with the blue sword, I thought that looked great. Then they go to that shot, and I'm like, this looks like a Chuck E. Cheese head. Like it looks way large. But yeah, so the actor, the Hayden, he looked a lot like Hayden Christensen. I thought he had more of the Hayden look.
Yeah, for sure. He did. And when I was looking at him though, I was like, I still think, as much as I love Mark Hamill, if it had been recast and it was just a new Luke, I think it would have been effective still. I know like everybody likes to see the guy who they know exactly and all that kind of stuff. But when I saw him there, I was like looking at it and I was just like, if it was if his performance was on and if it felt like Luke, I think it would have been fine. If it was Sebastian Stan, would have been cool. It would have worked.
After you recast Harrison Ford in a solo movie, like what's the difference? So I've
Yeah.
been waiting since the 80s for them to just recast because I'm like, look, different people play Batman.
Sure.
Different people play Superman. James Bond's different dudes. So like, I straight up don't understand why Star Wars has to be these actors forever. I don't. I get the characters and playing the tone and figuring out the
Oh yeah.
timeline, but I don't understand why we're. Is anyone mad Ewan McGregor is now associated with Obi-Wan versus Alec Guinness? Like, is anybody going, no?
Yeah.
No, I don't understand this at all.
Yeah, I've never heard anyone asking for a deep fake version of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show with Alec Guinness. I haven't.
I want Alec
never heard
Guinness
that.
from Murder by Death, where he's like super effeminate, right? And he just goes, Luke. I'm like, Truman Capote. Let's do it.
Yeah, no, I mean, characters can grow and new actors like come aboard,
Yeah.
but I mean, but at the same time, I mean, there's like a duality to it. There's another part of me that's like, wow, when I imagine that if there could be another Star Wars movie someday with Han, Luke, and Leia in it, and it's Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, and Harrison Ford, that doesn't make me mad. At the same time, I let go of the feeling of not trusting it. Let's just pretend we've arrived where it's there. It can be.
They have to get someone to act like them. That's what's weird, right? Yeah. Because I've seen some people nail this perfectly, like Carl Urban doing Bones. It's pretty impressive. Yeah. Like that. It's not the same DeForest, but it's like your mental image, like what they were saying with like Luke, like he actually had a brown robe, but people just remember it as being black, probably because of the toy. Yeah. But like, if you want my opinion, it's because the toy, it was black. That's why. But like Chris Pine did his own thing. It's not Shatner. It's Shatner in moments. Like when he's being really cocky, he goes into that Shatner and then he bees himself. So he bees himself. The fuck am I saying? I got all piratey. He be being himself.
He hating himself to death.
Don't be hating me. Takes on BB-8.
yeah. But no, it's like true. It's like you do want to see the people that and you like what's familiar and you don't want to let go of that. But and at the same time though, that's so rad that we get to see Mark Hamill from Return of the Jedi in this at this time. But I'm like so conflicted on it because I want more Luke. Like Luke showed up there now. Now I'm like, okay, what happens next? What does Luke do now? And that kind of stuff. And I don't know if they can do that right now. I don't know.
Yeah, they called a new series Heir to the Jedi, and it's just the Luke adventures,
But I mean, I don't know if they can. I don't think the technology where it's at the moment is a place where you could do a whole series with Luke as the main character like that.
I'd just say you recast at that point.
Yeah, no,
but
that's what I'm saying.
10 years from now, I think we're there. Probably 5, dude. Like honestly, the deepfake has moved faster than I thought it would. Like I saw a really good one the other day where they replaced Peter Weller with Arnold Schwarzenegger as RoboCop, right? Like, and I'm like, because he has no hair, and their facial features are strikingly similar. Like if you imagine it, and then I'm like, this just plays out as a prequel to Terminator, man. Like it just plays out like a like RoboCop for me with Arnold Schwarzenegger as RoboCop is the Terminator prequel. Like that gets the OCP turning into Skynet in 3 seconds. So.
Before The Force Awakens, when they were like getting ready to start production and stuff, there were so many rumors going around about how young Han, Luke, and Leia were going to be in it and stuff like that. And there ended up being scenes in the movie that did have it, and we did see some of that stuff like in Last Jedi, where you see like the other Luke, but it didn't really get to that place. And then Episode 9 gets us there. But I do wonder if that was always on the table, or how on the table that stuff always was, and if it was just deemed like, oh, this is impossible right now for us.
I
But
believe if they did it as an animated series right now,
yeah,
a really well told animated series, that's the one I want. And then at the tail end of that, if the technology's there, you do a live action series or movie that sort of encapsulates it, right? With the tech,
yeah,
like they could buy themselves 5 years by doing an animated series alone.
yeah, it's true. It's true. And I was on $3 Theaters live stream tonight. He sent me a DM, want to come on? I was like, yeah, sure, come on for a little bit. And we were talking about that kind of stuff, Will they ever go back? Will they ever tell a story in between Empire and Jedi with those characters and stuff like that? And would be neat, but I think that stuff's like so far out right now, and still so far away. Not that the technology won't be there in 5 years, but I don't know if like if by the time, I think the technology has to get there, and then they have to be in that writing phase at the same time of realizing, oh, we can do this, and it's okay to start doing it. But
Well, that's
that
what I was
said,
saying. Like if you start with an animated series, you build a team of writers that would know the character,
yeah,
right? You build the people that get the tech. You know what I mean? You get that story group together that would have it down. That then
yeah,
you culminate in like a live action series or movie event, and then it sort of all plays out. I'm actually, it's a good sign in a way that they haven't just jumped to that. Given you would think like when people go, oh, Disney bought Lucasfilm, they're just gonna give us endless Luke, and they haven't. They haven't given us endless Luke and Leia and Han. They haven't,
yeah.
just jumped on everything right away. So
Yeah. The Han Solo and the Boba Fett movie were two of the three things that were on the table from day one, and we've just barely started getting to the Boba Fett stuff now. And I guess there's two perspectives. One is that they're inefficient, and then and then
because we kind of stupid.
the other is that if they want to get it right, and
Too busy counting all the money.
yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. Yeah, but I mean, I liked it for what it was, for bonus content. It was pretty entertaining, and the season 2 bonus content for Mandalorian was lacking because of the pandemic, and so I'm glad that they didn't just go, well, season 2 happened, we missed that boat. I'm glad that they still did this, that they still made this documentary and put it out, and it was in depth, and I think it had more honesty than most of them have had. And
Yeah, and it's actually more well-rounded than some of like the generic Blu-ray or DVD features you used to get, right? I mean, every now and then you get a great making of DVD thing like The Lord of the Rings, or even the prequel stuff was pretty good.
yeah,
But then you get these generic ones for like, I'm Fast and the Furious, what are we doing with cars? Cars, here's a car culture. It's like 5 minutes of some nonsense. But I'm glad to see it, this sort of thing. I think people just thought it was going to go away, after, because they're like, oh, no one watches them on the DVD, so why spend money? But here on streaming, again, this is a benefit to the streaming platform. People are all staying up at midnight to watch something that they never would have watched if it was bundled in on their Blu-ray.
right.
Right? No one would have watched it. I mean,
Yeah.
some would, but we wouldn't be up here at midnight rallying around Twitter. When is it launch? When's it going? Like, so it's pretty good.
Yeah, and I mean, and also, I mean, to that platform's credit, um, extra features in general have pretty much gone away.
Yeah.
We don't really get very much of anything anymore. I really miss commentaries, and
100%.
yeah, and if there was one thing that would be great is if they started throwing the commentaries. But I know
Except
why they
JJ's
don't.
commentaries are pretty soulless. Like I was super excited for his stuff, right? When The Force Awakens come out, I'm like, this is not fun.
They don't want to give any insight to how things go, because they know that it's going to be torn apart, that a narrative is going to be made out of whatever they say, and that is a problem. But at the same time, it's going to happen anyway. So I would
Whereas
rather,
Joel Schumacher's commentaries for Batman Forever and Batman and Robin are fantastic. Even if you don't like the movies, my friend, he literally in the Batman and Robin one, he goes, "Look, for those who enjoyed Batman Forever, I apologize. I didn't give you more of that with this because this is not more of that. This is steps down, and I blame myself." You know. And I was just like, "Damn!" And even during that movie, he starts talking about his other films. He goes, "Yeah, I made this other film, and falling down, and we just talk about other stuff."
There was have you ever heard those Arnold commentaries where Arnold's talking about his movies? They're hilarious.
Yeah.
They're just so freaking out there.
Yeah, but I could watch him talk about anything, even if it's not his own movie.
I I want Carl Weathers to do a commentary for every Star Wars thing ever, even stuff he wasn't in.
Yeah.
Just
Carl even Weathers. If he's never like, what is this? Make him watch Caravan of Courage.
He's like, what am I watching right now? Why is this on my TV right now? It's like it's Carl Weathers,
Stallone wouldn't pay me to be in Balboa. Cheap ass.
Yeah. But all right. Well, I'm tired. You tired?
No, I'm up till 7 a.m., bro. Like literally when we do the cast in the morning, I get up about an hour before. So
nice.
I'm a night owl. That's how I roll.
Yeah. Kids started school, and I've been having to get up super early every day, no matter if I have work to do or not. So it's been like,
all good. Well, we did it.
We did it.
Our first midnight release chat. Look at that. Wait, I didn't have to do any script reading. That's nice.
Yeah.
Break from that.
Yeah. I'm done reading shit until I read the notes I took on that.
Till tomorrow when you have to read stuff.
That stuff's easy. But yeah. Whatever. Yeah, I was glad that we finished that today. I was looking at the clock, and I'm like, dude, if I don't speed it up, we're gonna have like a page to do the very next day.
I got it pretty quickly what you were doing. That's why okay, I'll try. That's why I was trying to do the little voices underneath. So you know what I mean? It's not like we're just rushing through. That people are getting something for those that hung in there, but I get it.
Yeah, but no, but it was fun, and it was interesting to read it with other people than just to like sit there by yourself and read through and go, oh, that sounds stupid.
There is something to be said about me being stuck reading it, having never read it, and I get to lines like when the droid when C-3PO was ripping out the guts or something, or R2's ripping out. I'm just like, I'm telling you, that is the craziest Star Wars scene I have ever read. Like my entire, out of everything I've ever read, that's it. Like props to those guys for at least having the balls to be like, pay me. Yeah, we want money.
But yeah, we will see you guys tomorrow at I think 1 p.m. and we will go over our final thoughts and the what was in the second draft, or kind of what changed really quickly, and then whatever news.
Chat a little indie.
Yeah, and I had an indie scoop today, which nobody's probably watching this by now at this time, but indie scoop today. No one really is looking at it. People don't really follow indie that much, though. Indie's kind of a hard sell. But it's
the minute there's a trailer, bro, everything blows up. It's just not in their collective consciousness right now. That's what it is.
It's a hard one. I mean, on Making Star Wars, the indie content usually probably does about 25% of what a good Star Wars thing will do. Which makes sense.
And I know we got to go, but I just feel the indie stuff right now, it's kind of like when all the speculation and conversation about Spider-Man Homecoming was coming out before the film, and people were so burnt out on Spider-Man films, they're like, I just don't even care.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh my God, where's the trailer? No one cared about when the trailer was coming. People were tired of Spider-Man. I was tired. I had to work on the shirts for those last two films. That everyone. The craziest part for me in the last 10 years has watched the internet go, Andrew Garfield's the best Spider-Man. I'm like, you fuck off. Like those fucking films, man. Like that was some of the hardest shit to ever work on because the assets were horrible and the movies were tough. There was no quotes. There's nothing you can pull other than the logo, you know, and like some generic poses. There's nothing to work with. It's like, it's just tough. It'd be like getting the Caravan of Courage license. Like, what are you going to put on a shirt?
Yeah. I don't have like strong feelings about Spider-Man, and I didn't like hate Andrew Garfield, but I hated the movies he was in. I thought the
Yeah.
bad guy looked stupid.
I thought he looked
mean,
like a Goomba from Mario Brothers. I
he
was like,
looked like
we're back
he
to
was
this?
He was a Schumacher fucking looking dude to me. It looked like he could have been like with Mr. Freeze or something. Like they probably
So I feel
hung out.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, you know, had done that for the collective conscious. You know, I'm not saying I feel that way, but a lot of people do. Like my wife was like, I just don't even care. I'm like, but we went and saw Ford v Ferrari in like 4DX, you know, where they project on the two screens. Because I was like, I gotta see if this works because I love 3D. What's this gonna be like? And she loved that movie.
I saw Last Jedi in that.
That's wild, right? Like it's cool.
When Chewbacca's cooking the porg or whatever, they piped in like barbecue hickory smells.
Really?
Yeah. I ultimately found the whole experience distracting from the movie. Like the seats shake and shit, and it was like, what?
Oh no, that isn't what I'm talking about. The seats.
Okay.
There's this other thing. It's not 40X. You talk about the sheets that move you around. This was where you have like where certain scenes. Like remember when they did Superman Returns and certain scenes were in 3D,
right,
in IMAX. So certain scenes get extended out to the side.
Oh, okay.
So it's a box screen. And you got the main movie, and then during all the racing scenes in Ford v Ferrari, they extend further out.
Oh, okay.
Like to the side, and it's not. Look, it'd be cool to have a giant curved screen because it's weird that it's kind of going vertically, but it does. After a while, your eyes settle in, and you're like, this is wild.
Mangold vision, what they call it.
Yeah, man. Yes.
Yeah,
the Mangold standard.
He does it. He does that for the races, and if anybody gets punched in the face, he also goes into the. So that way you really see it coming.
It's just his hand is all the pickups. You know, we got coverage. You know,
you can see like the tattoo that says Mangold.
So one last thing: who do you think wins in a fight, Mangold or Uwe Boll? Like
Mangold.
Do we not need celebrity deathmatch back? Do we not need that back? Like
Mangold's just gonna win.
Yeah.
Mangold is like a cheat. It's like a hack. It's like a cheat code. So it's like, you know, he's got infinite.
He's
life.
like Noob Saibot.
He's got ultimate power. He puts you in the face. I mean,
he's got all the moves, right? He's like that character that has all the moves. Okay, I got you.
He's taking Indy to Casablanca. He doesn't give a fuck.
He turns you to gold. He literally turns
Mangold. He's probably doing an homage to Goldfinger in the indie movie too, because why not? It's like his cousin.
He turns you to gold. He kicks you. You shatter in coins, and he swims in you like Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah,
he spits you out. Like,
yeah.
So. I don't know. This is really devolved. Like, okay,
you know what? I'm just loopy now, and this is the Mangold podcast now. Mangold. What can he not do?
If we did that, he would kill us.
Yeah. The worst part is that he would like tell you online he's gonna fuck you up first, and like you wouldn't know it was coming, and then he would find you and he'd fuck you up, and then he would tell you online he's coming for you again.
If you say Mangold into a mirror 7 times, his fist just punches you. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Mangold beat the shit out of me, and now I'm sterile.
Well, if it wasn't for Mangold, it'd be the COVID. Whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, well, if we ain't been DMCA'd, we have now.
No, I'm just saying though. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I respect Steven Spielberg, and he's pretty cool. But Steven Spielberg's like a huge pussy. I could definitely kick his ass. But what's going to happen when Mangold makes Indiana Jones, if that's what Spielberg made? I'm just throwing that out there right now.
We got to talk to Riot about this, but you remember that original script for ET2 that was hardcore? It was like a It was like a vicious like monster movie.
Nocturnal Fears?
I believe Mangold could make that. Like Mangold should make Nocturnal Fears and be like, "It's not your father's ET."
Yeah. You know? No, he's like, I just want everybody to know ET was a huge pussy, and I'm fixing that. so my vision for ET was, what if Elliot grew up and he actually grew a sack? You know, like he had a dad and just like learned how to be a man for once. Whoa, no. Mangold is totally not that kind of guy at all.
But Dennis Lawson's the real little pussy. You know? I'll punt his ass 60 yards. Like,
man, you and Dennis Lawson need to like just put
he's about the size of Grogu. He's not that hard, dude. Like, you know, I'm telling you.
I don't know. Man, isn't it weird that Dennis Lawson is Ewan McGregor's uncle? Like,
yeah, well, I mean, what's really weird is I'm gonna have to fight Ewan after I kick Dennis Lawson's ass because you know the Scottish honor and all that.
I don't think he drinks anymore though, so I think he lost all his power. I'm pretty sure Scottish people can't fight unless they it's like spinach for them, like Popeye.
Or has anyone ever done the drunken monkey, but with like a Scottish battle style, like the drunken kill?
I don't even know what a drunken monkey is.
Well, you know, like the old guy when they drink and then they fight because like drunken Shaolin's monkey style. That's what they call it. Like,
gotcha. Yeah,
I guess because monkeys out there would eat fermented fruit and get drunk, you know, and fight you. But that drunken master style, but like with the Scottish warrior.
I'm pretty sure Mangold's student film was he got monkeys drunk and fought them personally on camera.
He's like, I'm redoing Crystal Skull and I'm just gonna get the monkeys drunk and they're gonna fight Shia. Like, and we're gonna insert modern Shia. We're not going back to young Shia. Goatee. Sociopathic behavior, all of it.
The whole thing, and Kathy Kennedy was like,
this show has just devolved. So sorry for those who've stuck with this. Like,
there's some like guys right now. The 10 people still watching are like crying about seeing Luke Skywalker on screen again, and they just can't like see how to turn it off on the computer. They're like,
this is the river that John talked about. This is the river of information. It just flows continuously out there. Sorry, not sorry. Sorry.
Sounds about right. All right, guys. All right, I'm going to go to bed, and he's going to get on with his life. Hey,
man, it's going to be Art Bell and Drawn. Here we go.
All right.
You want to keep these secrets not to annoy you or play some kind of game with MakingStarWars.com.
It's not about spaceships. It's not about spaceships. It's not about spaceships. It's not about spaceships.